Yeah, what's going on, guys? Bobo here with BrassReel Brothers. Thanks for coming back for another episode of BrassReel Tonight, where hopefully one day this will be your hub to get all your movie news, source chatter, or at least the stuff you care about. So thanks for joining me this time around. Tried to go at a little 5 o'clock this time. I've been switching up with some of my times. I've been thinking about what's going to be right for everybody. Is 7 o'clock going to get more views for me? Is 8 o'clock going to get more views? So I've tried some of those. Now I'm going to see what's up with 5 o'clock. Maybe I'm not giving the 7 and 8 o'clock enough of a run, but this is my third week into it now. So I don't know. My thinking is that maybe some people are kind of wanting to go listen to this on their way home, or could listen to it on their way home. Again, I've got what, 6 fans, 7, 8, maybe. I keyed. But hopefully I can figure out that niche time. You know, I'm still trying to up everything. I've got the audio, I think, worked out pretty good. I've got the software starting to work out pretty good. I still need a little bit better of a camera. I can use my actual camera that I do my reviews with, which actually, that's a good camera. That looks great. That looks full on HD, 4K quality, all that stuff. However, you have to get all kinds of other equipment for it and everything. And it's not technically designed to that. You have to get like this different converter so your computer can recognize that it's a webcam, or it lies to your computer, basically telling it's a web. Anyways, it's all kinds of stuff. And there's just multiple things to it. I can get an actual better webcam. I just honestly don't have the money for it right now. So I'm just stick with me, guys. I really appreciate y'all hanging out and enjoying what I have to say. And it's just going to be always movie news, lighthearted, always having some fun. And hopefully one of these days I'll start getting the jump on some of the news and the jump on some of the reviews. If I can start getting press passes and stuff like that, seeing movies early so I can review them earlier, get news a little earlier so I can kind of be on it a little bit more. So, and again, that's just me kind of explaining my my route and my dreams and all that stuff with it. But hey, moving forward and getting on to some news. We got a lot to talk about today, and a lot of it is going to be Marvel. I'm not trying to just stick to Marvel, but we're getting started to phase 4, guys. I'm pumped up about it. I'm not fully saying that we've got the best start with phase 4 compared to what we've had in the past. I mean, look, Endgame is going to be tough to live up to. Spider-Man Far From Home, I'm surprised that it actually did what it did right after Endgame, because Endgame was just so milestone event-like. But even so, Far From Home, you were kind of on the coattails of it, and you like what Peter had to, you like the feeling that Peter had. He was still kind of depressed. He was finding his way. So to me, it was still really good. And I love Far From Home. Like I said in my review, Black Widow, it just didn't get me as giddy. And look, with sales completely plummeting on Black Widow in the second weekend, I mean, I'm talking like not just like going down a little bit. I'm talking about completely disappearing. So I mean, I hate to say it this way, but is this a sign that Black Widow is a sign that Marvel's fading out? Could we be getting people tired of Marvel? I'm not saying I am. Don't get me wrong. I'm all about Marvel still. I'm all about it. But I mean, I don't know. Point I'm trying to make is that are we just in a spot to where it's just been shoved down our throats and we're getting so much of it? Kind of like Star Wars. You remember when Star Wars came out, and it was something like when the first trilogy, when the prequels came out, for example. When the prequels came out, everybody was super excited. They were so excited about what was about to happen. And were they a letdown? Of course. I mean, nothing can hold up to the originals. But once Disney got a hold of it, everybody was all like, oh, we're going to get all this Star Wars stuff. But part of what worked about Star Wars was the anticipation, was waiting all those years for something maybe epic. And even after the prequels, they got better over time. I still don't think they're anything like the originals, but they did get better over time. There's still plenty to laugh at. And you are still excited about those new trilogies that were coming out. But once Force Awakens come out, and then we got all these things. By the time we got to Solo, I just thought it was so diluted because we didn't have that anticipation. And I am kind of worried that that's happening with Marvel. I mean, when I say the ticket sales dropped, I think you may have heard me yesterday if you listened to the show, 67% since the first weekend. And that's not that's not good at all for any blockbuster, but it's definitely not good for Marvel, and especially considering that it was already a drop in sales because of the pandemic and their Disney Plus premiere release, which I don't know if that ruined them, but I think that it was a bad move. Anyways, what do you guys think? Is it on its way out already after 10, 12, 13 years? I guess 14 now since the pandemic's happened. God, time's flown. Are you guys tired of it? You want more? I personally think that there's going to be a payoff. I think that if you could just be patient and see this cosmic route that they're kind of going with, you will see that it's going to be pretty damn good. I'm looking forward to it, especially if they keep Spider-Man in the universe and they keep that going. Fantastic Four gets involved in the next like 5 years or so, because look, you might have phase 5 introducing the Fantastic Four, X-Men, or even phase 6. But remember, phase 1, 2, 3 were all the Infinity Saga. So we might still have all that stuff incorporated in the next 10 years. I'm confident about it. I'm still loving all this stuff. I do feel like that they might be oversaturating it just a little bit. It's just my little nitpick on it, but I'm not tired of it yet. I'm not tired of it at all. But moving on. This one, this one I really don't know what I feel about, or I don't know how I feel about this. Look, I love Clerks, and I'm one of those people that like Clerks 2 more than most. I thought Clerks 2 was great. I didn't think it was the same thing as the first movie. That's why I thought that it was so good. It tried to do something different. The first movie was such an independent little, just out of nowhere picture done by this guy and his friends. I mean, when they made it for next to nothing. I mean, it's got to be one of the cheapest movies ever made. Clerks 2 was a little different story. There was more production value involved. It wasn't quite as back home or guerrilla feeling. It was just more high production, but I still thought it was hilarious. I mean, there's so many funny moments in it. Randall is such a funny dude in this. Randall, and I'm remembering, drawing a blank on his name, Dante, the guy on the right. And, it is kind of unbelievable that Dante would be with Rosario Dawson's character, which she's in this, and she's awesome. I think she's great in everything. I think she's a phenomenal actress. She's really talented, beautiful, all that stuff. But their pair up is kind of weird. I will say that. But man, the comedy is there in it. The comedy is phenomenal in this. All 4 of these guys, hilarious. Elias is the dude on the left. I mean, that guy alone, I don't know if you remember some of the stuff with the donkey or the Transformers conversation or the pillow pants stuff. I mean, too good. That guy was hands down one of the funniest parts of the movie. Like I said, Randall, though, he was still great. And Randall's never been in many. He was in Zack and Miri Make a Porno, but I don't think that he's ever been in any other Kevin Smith movie outside of Clerks 1 and 2. So I'm pretty sure he's got to be in part 3. I don't see why he wouldn't. Are you guys excited about Clerks 3? I mean, look, also you had Jay and Silent Bob. I think some of their best moments in their little run of all the movies they've been in are in this one. And it's obviously Jason Mewes has gone through some different things. He's gotten off of drugs and everything like that, which is good. I'm happy for him. I'm glad that's all gone down for him. But it has, I mean, now you look at him there and then look at him here. I'm about to switch. Yeah, I mean, they're older, but man, Kevin Smith looks different too. But this is another little picture highlighting, oh, look, the burger joint, maybe. Who knows? So are you guys excited about that? I am. I think it's going to be funny. However, I'm not relying on it being as good as Clerks 2. Clerks 2 was actually a good movie to me. Clerks 2 had some heartfelt moments. He was having a kid, or him and Rosario Dawson, and like it really painted this picture of change. And what I like about Kevin Smith's movie is he does write about he reflects his own life in his films. So you can see that in Clerks 2. He was having kids. He was really getting into fatherhood more. And yeah, it was way before he had lost all the weight and all that stuff, which I'm happy for him. He looks totally different. And sometimes it's like, whoa, dude, I'm not used to seeing you like that, but he's way healthier. And I mean, he'll be around a lot longer. And then, anybody getting healthier, I'm always an advocate of that. But it is weird seeing him as Silent Bob now. But we'll see if Clerks 3 has what it takes. I mean, Lionsgate is actually putting it out. I'm not sure if they bought the whole rights to it and everything, because it was a Miramax thing. Harvey Weinstein was in control of all that stuff. So all that stuff is being sold off to at some level because Miramax is a Disney affiliate. So I think they're just completely just turning Miramax into nothing. While they're not leaving all their properties behind, they're just dispersing them out into different areas. So good for them for that. And I'm glad Kevin Smith is making some more. Excuse me. I'm glad Kevin Smith is making some more stuff, but there were funny moments in the Jay and Silent Bob reboot, but I just don't know how great it was. I don't know if it was just too forced. The acting was kind of bad. It was a little silly. I guess it was like a little cartoony. Like Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back, the original, that was cartoony, but it wasn't over the top cartoony. The reboot was just like, come on. I don't know if I'm buying any of this. But like I said, there were funny moments, but nothing like this guy. Oh, man. In Clerks 2, that dude was just hilarious when he's talking about pillow pants and Transformers, dude. Just too much. All right, so moving on. Did you guys see Willy's Wonderland? I don't know if y'all are a fan of that movie or not. I thought it was all right. I didn't think it was as good as it could have been. I definitely, I love Nick Cage, and I'm always excited to see him be like a crazy, crazy, crazy dude. But he didn't do anything crazy in this. He didn't talk. I don't know if you guys have seen it, but he has no lines. He's completely mute in it. And it was all right. But I'm actually not talking about this one too much. The main topic I'm talking about here is the director for has a new film coming out called The Accursed. And I don't know if you guys remember Mina Savari. I thought she was great, but this is the guy on the right. His name's Kevin. Oh shoot, what's his name? Kevin Lewis. And he's directing a movie called The Accursed with her. And man, I loved her. Remember, she was in American Pie, but she was also in American Beauty too. 2 American movies, which is hilarious. American Beauty, she gets a little randy in that one. But anyways, not focusing on that. Ho-ho! But I like the style of Willy's Wonderland. I just was disappointed that Nicolas Cage didn't talk. I just wish he would have just been a crazy dude. We would have had loud rants from him and stuff like that, because that's what I want to see from Nicolas Cage. But man, I do want to see Mina Savari in something crazy like a possession film. I think that'd be cool. And I am curious to see what else this guy's got up his sleeve. So that's just something I thought I'd bring up. Kind of, he's a little hot director right now. All right, moving on. And, like I said, guys, still getting used to a little bit of this, this software on here. And it's cool. I'm kind of having to play DJ as the way Rylan mentioned it yesterday at the same time as doing all this, but I'm going to get it down. Stick with me. I think I'm rolling all right so far. But to all you book readers out there, or for me, it's kind of cool. Some New Orleans fans, Louisiana peoples. I'm from Louisiana. Anne Rice has sold her books, her whole catalog. She sold it to AMC. And if you guys don't know what AMC makes, a lot of people just think of them as American movie classics, like just playing old movies and stuff. But she's actually sold the entire catalog to them. Those are the guys that make Walking Dead. They've done Breaking Bad now. They've done some good stuff. So, and then now they got that show that Kevin can F himself. I don't know if you guys have seen that, but it's actually really good. I think that was a really good show. Or actually, I think it has one more episode that comes on every Sunday. It's an interesting concept. I'm not even going to get into it, but if you guys get the chance, check out Kevin Can F Himself. Really fun, cool concept, and I'm digging it. But point I'm trying to make is AMC makes quality stuff, and she's got a lot of books. I mean, look at this. This is Anne Rice's collection, and this isn't everything. This is just some of it, because she's got the Vampire Chronicles, which has got like the Interview with the Vampire, Vampire Lestat, all that stuff, Queen of the Damned. But then she's also got her Witches Chronicles, and that's not the right name for it. I can't remember the exact name of what they're called. I can find it right here. The Lives of the Mayfair Witches is actually what it's called. So she's got the Vampire Chronicles, which is all this stuff. And I don't know if you remember the movie out of Interview with the Vampire with Tom Cruise and old Brad Pitsky right there. Oh boy, look at those hot boys. Looking good, guys. Man. Old school, young. Also had Kirsten Dunst in it. I don't know if you remember her in there, but show you just the here and now. She played that little freaky vampire. But Interview with a Vampire has been ordered to be on AMC. So the entire books, I don't know if it's going to be the Vampire Lestat. I don't know if it's going to be Interview with the Vampire, or, you know, like I said, Queen of the Damned, all that stuff. But Anne Rice has done that. And so we might be getting some cool TV stuff. I'm not sure how dark and gothic it can be on AMC. I mean, they do a lot of stuff on Sci-Fi and a lot of stuff on FX, like with American Horror Story and all that. But that stuff is always usually pretty late. And I mean, who knows? They could get super graphic, but if it's going to be, you know, horror and vampires, I just don't want them to cut any corners. I don't want them to cut any corners on the gore. I don't want them to cut any corners on the sexuality of it all. I mean, I know that sounds kind of crazy, but vampires are seductive. They're supposed to be into sort of the sensual type of behavior. So I don't know if I want to see a PG-13 Interview with the Vampire show, but we'll see. I mean, hopefully it's going to be good. Like I said, I do like Anne Rice, her novels. I like the concepts. The movies have been hit or miss. Some of them have been good. Some of them have been crappy, but moving forward. Oh, I don't know if you guys saw this when somebody put this picture out there. Like when I met Tool in 1990 with Britney Spears, thought that was pretty funny. It doesn't have the meme there, but it's actually not Tool. It's the cast of Interview with the Vampire, obviously, with Banderas, Pitt, Cruz, Slater, and Kirsten Dunst. But I just thought it was a funny meme if you guys seen that, because that's kind of what Tool looked like back then. All right, moving on. Did you guys see Fear Street? I thought it was pretty good. Thought it'd been, could have been a little bit more 90s in the beginning, but I still thought it was good. But the director, Leah Janiak, I think, she's decided that she wants it to become a horror MCU. So they're doing another trilogy. I mean, you can tell that if you've seen the trilogy already of this one. They're doing another one. And they're also basically saying they're just going to keep going forward. And so this girl right here is in charge of it. She directed all 3 of those movies, which is pretty sweet. I think that's pretty cool. And I think she was like a creator and writer. Obviously, she didn't create it from the beginning because it's based on RL style stuff. But I'm curious to see if they can do an MCU. How cheesy will it get? Who knows? And like Rylan was saying yesterday, the Netflix horror and Netflix's brand of film in general has this polish to it that's just a little tough to get out. I mean, it's just sometimes it's like, yeah, it's horror, but it's like not fully horror. And that's something that I think that Netflix could work on. But I mean, I did enjoy Fear Street. I mean, the look to most of the stuff, the fact if you can see the knife on the right, which is sort of like the part 1, the axe on the left is the part 2, and then the pitchfork in the back, that's part 3. Really cleverly done, and the writing was awesome on it. And that's little Maya Hawke right there, which she's Ethan Hawke and Uma Thurman's daughter. But the design of the whole thing was great. I mean, the filming of it was cool. I mean, right here, the look of the mall. Yeah, it was a little Stranger Thingsy. Of course, it was. I think a lot of people can agree to that, but I don't think that ruined it by anything. I think that was fun. I definitely loved the feel of it. There were some flaws, no question. There were some flaws, but I still thought it was very enjoyable, and it was what I wanted. It was, I mean, and look, they got a lot of books to base this stuff off of. Okay. So there's definitely source material there. It's just a matter of, are they going to keep it believable? Is it going to be something that it's like, all right, I'm interested in this still, or we're going to get one more trilogy. And even in that second trilogy, is it going to be not as good as this first trilogy? Because this first trilogy wasn't AAA by any means. It was more like AA. So if we get a single A trilogy, that means we're making our quick way to B grade horror quickly within like the third trilogy. So I just hope that they don't do that. I hope that they are smart about it. But with Netflix, you never can tell. Netflix, sometimes it's just amazing stuff. And then sometimes it's like, what the hell am I watching? I mean, I know you guys agree with me, but are you excited about Fear Street, guys? If anybody's watching, put some stuff down in the comments about it. If you are excited about another trilogy and possibly a shared universe like the MCU. I know, I mean, I think it could be kind of cool. But like I said, if done right. All right, jumping into some movie stuff here. Batgirl is finally being cast, and it's going straight to HBO Max. Now, the version of Batgirl they're doing is not the version of Batgirl that I wish they were doing. God, I got to stop hitting that camera. This is the version of Batgirl that they're probably going to be doing, which is Barbara Gordon. Great version of Batgirl. And it's the one that makes sense to do first because she was the original Batgirl, and start from the beginning and connect it to Jim Gordon, it's Barbara Gordon, Jim Gordon's daughter. And they can, obviously relate it to a character you're already familiar with Jim. So I'm cool with that. But the fact that it's an HBO Max straight to HBO Max film, that's just, I don't know. It's kind of weird to me. And I think it is going to exist in the DCEU as well. So we'll see. We'll see. Like, they're trying to do the Disney Plus thing, but instead of they are doing shows as well. They got apparently like a Peacemaker show, which is a spinoff from Suicide Squad. Apparently they've got a Green Lantern Corps show and a movie coming out, and just all these things straight to HBO Max. And like I said, I'm not sure how I feel about that. Is that what we need? More saturation in a universe that's slightly failing? Because the DCEU, let's face it, they're not home runs. Some of them are great, but not always, and not most of the time. I still enjoy them for what they're worth. And, it's like some of them I can't, like Birds of Prey. I was just, ugh. And that is what they messed up with that movie. One of the things they messed up, because look, this isn't the version of Batgirl that they're going to be doing. But real quick, let me get on the side shoot here. The version of Batgirl I wish they were doing, but they can't, because you got to go through Barbara first. That the only way that the version of Batgirl that I like becomes Batgirl is because of Barbara Gordon's character getting hurt in a certain way. I'm not going to tell you anything, even though it's the story that's existed in the comics for years. But this is the version of Batman that I liked, was the Cassandra Cain version. Now, Cassandra Cain, who is amazing in the comics, they totally messed her up in the movies. They had her in Birds of Prey as this dumb little girl that had to take a shit the whole time. It had a broken arm that couldn't do anything. It was just super clumsy. This girl right here is awesome. She doesn't talk. It's not that she can't talk. She just chooses not to. But she's got an Asian descent, and she's like, from all these, her background is just really tormented, which makes her a really interesting character. And she's dark. You see how she's got the mask over her mouth, and the eyes are like super, super dark. The picture on the left, they're not. She's got like little goggles on. That was a little bit of an upgrade. But this this Batgirl is badass. This is the Batgirl that I want him to get to at some point. Now, I do understand they have to get away from, or they can't get to this Batgirl yet, is because they got to do Barbara Gordon. I totally get that, because Barbara Gordon is the original Batgirl. You need her first. But they are doing Barbara Gordon, and now it's narrowed down to between two actresses. And I don't know if you are familiar with these two ladies right here, but it is Leslie Grace and Haley Lou Richardson. Now, I think both of them look good. They both, I personally, Batgirl in the comics, Barbara Gordon is redheaded. So I think that the girl on the left seems like it's more natural looking on her. Not to say the girl on the right couldn't pull it off and pull off red hair. That's fine. They both are great looking, and, they both have striking features. But my one problem is the girl on the right looks a lot like Ruby Rose, who played Batwoman. And that's one of the girls who got fired from playing the character. Well, she didn't get fired. She left. That's a whole other story. But this girl on the left, I think, looks more like Barbara Gordon to me. I hope that she gets it. And the one on the right, like I said, if she gets it, that'll be great. That's fine. But she just looks too much like Ruby Rose to me. And Batwoman and Batgirl are two different characters. And I just don't want them to be tied together in any fashion. I want people to be able to understand the difference. But I'm looking forward to see what happens with it. I can't say that I'm necessarily looking forward to the movie all that much, because, come on, a straight to HBO Max DC movie. The Snyder Cut was different. The Snyder Cut, it was based off of something that had already been happening, and he just finally got to do his vision. That was supposed to be a theatrical movie, just like all the other ones were. So with it going straight to HBO Max, I'm just curious if they're going to cut corners, if they're going to actually spend the money on it to make a type of movie like that you would need. Because in my opinion, if Yeah, you don't need a ton of money because she's not a superpowered person, but you need money to make those movies. I mean, look at Dark Knight. Those cost a lot of money because the sets were big. It felt real. The cities were awesome. You know, they shut down streets because they wanted it to feel real. They didn't just want to green screen it or CG it. So I thought that was cool. I like that. I like the realism of it. So if they get the realism right, then I think that'll work for it. But if it's not, any of the realism doesn't work, I don't want to see a Gotham and a Batman and all that stuff in any more CG stuff. I want as little as CG as I have to see in any of those things. And that's what worries me about a movie like this going straight to HBO Max. It's just going to be too CG. I mean, not saying that it will, but we'll see. But what do you think? What do you guys think about these two girls right here? Do you think they look good? You think this is going to be a good choice for both of them or either of them? Do you have a specific one? I think the one on the left is Leslie Grace, and I think the one on the right is Haley Lou Richardson. I think. I should have figured that out before I started the stream. My fault. But like I said, I'm excited to see what happens with it. Not so sure that I'm excited. I'm not like, oh, yes, a Batgirl. I'm just, and I love the character. It's the HBO Max thing that worries me. That's all it is. A Batgirl to HBO Max. Like, I'd rather if you told me a Batgirl was coming to theaters, I'd be like, all right, you are taking this seriously. You are putting the effort out there to make it something good. But when you're kind of shitting it off on the side to HBO Max, it just makes me worry. That's all. But I could be proven wrong. WandaVision was great, but still, WandaVision felt like TV. It didn't feel like a movie. Even as good as the effects were, still felt like TV. Just saying. You guys excited about the Blade movie? Blade is going to be entering the MCU. And I'm not talking about the same Blade. I'm not talking about the Wesley Snipes Blade. This is going to be a full-on new Blade. And it's played by none other than who else? Mahershala Ali. I mean, this guy was born to play Blade. I'm not trying to typecast him by any means, but look at it. Now, I think some of this is fan art, but is he going to have the hair? Is he going to be bald? Because in the comics, he's bald. I think there are some iterations where he has a little bit of a short hair thing here and there, but for the most part, he's bald in the comics. The Wesley Snipes thing, they made it more of that kind of, designs in the back of his hair with sort of that flat top look, which was cool. It worked well for him. But man, I mean, he's perfect for Blade. But this movie has found its director. Or I say it's found its director. It's been rumored to have its director. And his name is Bassem Tariq. I've never seen his movies. He's done a movie called Mongol Mowgli, I believe. Let me find it right here. Yeah, I think it's Mongol Mowgli. Mogul Mowgli. My bad. Mongol. That's terrible. Mogul Mowgli. Yeah, but this guy is going to be, from what we hear, and it's pretty good. I think it's sort of like just the paperwork hasn't actually been signed, but he's going to be the new director for Blade. And it's coming into the Marvel Universe. How do you guys feel about that? We're getting vampires in the Marvel Universe. I mean, that's awesome. I love it. And look at this guy. Come on. Now, does that mean that Morbius is going to be in there with it? Because Morbius is coming into the Spider-Man universe. Huh? I'm thinking they're going to merge all these things at some point. I think they have to. I don't think that it's a matter of like, will they? I think it's that at this point, so many people have been talking about this multiverse merging thing. If we don't get Venom and Spider-Man merging in the MCU, I think people are going to be pissed. I'm not saying that Venom and Spider-Man in their own Sony pictures outside of the MCU wouldn't be good. They could be, but Sony has a tendency to mess things up. I mean, look at Amazing Spider-Man 2, look at Spider-Man 3. They start off good and then they just like, nah, we got to do this, shoehorn in everything. So I just think that it's inevitable that it will happen. And I think it'd be great if we had Blade with Morbius, and it just lends itself to so many other storylines in the MCU. I mean, come on, vampires. We need that. We still don't have mutants yet either. So I think this guy, something's good got to be about him. People have said a lot of good things about him. It's the same thing with like the Eternals and Chloe Zhao, her doing that. I mean, this guy, I think he's supposed to be pretty talented. And I'm actually going to see Mogul Mowgli now just because I want to see what this guy has under his belt. I want to see what he's worth. So I'm definitely looking forward to Blade. No question. I think Blade's going to be, I think Marvel will do Blade right because it's something they have not touched yet at all. They haven't touched that. And they're tampering with horror a little bit with Doctor Strange, but they haven't touched horror yet. And Blade is horror. And so, like I said, curious to see where that goes. So it's been out now that Loki episode 6 is Disney's highest viewership yet on Disney Plus. It's 2.5 million households, according to Samba TV. That's bigger than Falcon Winter Soldier. That's bigger than WandaVision, Mandalorian, all that stuff. So obviously people are happy with this. Maybe they're just not happy with Black Widow. Because look, Loki was good, man. There was a filler episode. Episode 3 sucked. I think everybody agrees on that. But Loki was great. And Sylvie, sometimes I was kind of on her, but she worked for the show. She worked for building Loki's character. And that's what I was really happy about. Excuse me. Sorry about that, guys. So it's the furthest yet. Loki pushes the viewership higher than any show they've had so far on Disney Plus. So I think that that's a sign they're not done yet. People aren't tired of it. They were just maybe tired of Black Widow. But remember me talking about, and I also think Black Widow, it's just 5 years ago when she was a relevant character, it would have maybe been a little better, but people were turned off by the fact that she's already dead. I think that's what I've heard from most people, even though it's a prequel. Most people, that's their complaint. And if they're not seeing it, they're not seeing it. And it doesn't matter what the reason is. They're just not seeing it. And that thing, got to pay attention to those things. But Kang, I think he's what we really have to look out for. He's the guy that I'm not kidding. If he's not the next Thanos threat, he's the next thing right before Thanos, or he's the precursor to Thanos. Because Kang in the comics is huge, and he has a lot of power, and it's a huge time thing. And he is the villain in Quantumania, the new Ant-Man movie coming out, Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania. So I'm excited. Me talking about them building to a milestone event, I think that he could be a major part of that. And I think once you truly see where everything is going, if you keep up with everything with Shang-Chi keeping it going, and they're just really open up with Eternals coming out. Like I said, once Far From Home gets here, I'm pretty sure people are going to be back on board. I'm not saying they're going to be completely just, oh, yay, it's here. Awesome. I'm not saying it's going to be in-game days right away, but I do think it's going to stir the pot a little bit to get people back on board. And I think it's because Marvel's doing something they've never done before and tapping into this multiverse thing. And it's sort of like anything else. If they're going to oversaturate, because Hollywood if something's big, they just shove it down your throat, even if it's good and you're enjoying it the whole time. But that's what they've done with the Marvel movies, and that's what the comic books movies have done. And so this multiverse thing, it's going to be shoved down your throat. I think the more and more it happens, the more they're going to do, the further they're going to push it. I mean, other companies and Warner Brothers, they jumped on it with the DCEU. Now in Space Jam 2, they got the serververse, which was stupid. Anyways, I think that there's really something building big with this cat right here. And I think we're going to be happy. And not to mention, I'm not so sure that the Thunderbolts aren't going to be a big deal. I think the Thunderbolts might be being put together right now. I mean, look, do you notice any of these guys? Yeah. Now, Ghost Rider, I think that one was just kind of shoehorned in there. I think that's kind of stupid. But Deadpool, he's been a Thunderbolt. You can tell that Valentina was already grooming Florence. You've got Baron Zemo here. Bucky, I'm not sure what his deal is. I feel like there's still more negative, dark stuff with him to come. Taskmaster, maybe. I don't know about that. I could totally see him coming back. Sam Rockwell character, Justin Hammer. His character's awesome. You got Agent Walker over here. He's definitely already being groomed. You know that's happening because of Valentina, or the Countess. Abomination is in Shang-Chi. Ghost is still alive. And if you guys have played the Iron Man VR game, I know this isn't canon, but I think the Marvel is trying to keep that character alive in some sort of fashion in pop culture.
She's the villain in that entire game. So they're wanting that villain to become popular. And I think that they're trying to include more female diversity in the films, and she is a female villain. So I think that that's something they're trying to do. But I mean, I think it's a true possibility that we could be getting some of this stuff. Because there she is, Valentina, and she's already talked to John Walker. She's already talked to Yelena, and we know that Abomination is coming. Baron's been captured again. I just think that there's something brewing and something up. And General Ross, he was in Black Widow, and the Thunderbolts are named after General Thunderbolt Ross, and General Thunderbolt Ross becomes the Red Hulk in the comics. Now, Thunderbolts are just like the Avengers. There has been multiple circulations of characters that have been in there. Ghost Rider you can see on here, but look, Deadpool's there. Maybe we're going to see Deadpool cross over in a Thunderbolts movie and not in an Avengers movie. Maybe we'll get something like that. Who knows? But I do feel like something's brewing. I think that Thunderbolts is almost an inevitability. I don't know this. I just think that I think that's probably true. I think that there's something that can happen with that. And I haven't kept up with comics in a long time. So as far as like 15 years ago was the last time I actually caught up with modern comics. Some stuff I've bought some graphic novels here and there, but I don't know any of the newer source material that they could be interjecting in or interweaving into this older source material that they're still working with, because they are making a hybrid of a lot of it. For example, Miss Marvel, she's a really new character, not Captain Marvel, but Miss Marvel, two different characters. But Miss Marvel's a really new character. But even Carol Danvers as Captain Marvel, she's not the original Captain Marvel. They're just bringing more newer things in there. The Civil War storyline, that's not that old of a storyline. Secret War is way older than Civil War. There's so many older major event storylines that are way older than Civil War. Excuse me. And all the things that we've seen thus far, the point I'm trying to make. So the hybrids of what we could get could be all over the place. So they could be taking the Thunderbolts from the comics, juggling that around and coming up with their own movie version of it. Because that's the way the MCU is. It's its own version. Don't ever expect it to be directly based from it's never going to be directly pages to the screen from the comics. It is very much based off the comics, and they try to stick to most of the source material as much as they can. But sometimes you just have to adapt. You just have to. That's just the way adapting goes to movie. But that's all I got on the comic book front. But one last thing I want to talk about, which is what I had my thumbnail up for this video, is look at what we got, folks. We got it coming. Jackass 4 is here. The trailer officially launched this morning. I watched it. It looks hilarious. I'm going to see it. I mean, yeah, is it beating a dead horse a little bit? Sure. I mean, these guys are just beating themselves up the entire time, but that's what you go to see. And the fact that they're older now, that's kind of fun. And if you look at Knoxville there, man, Knoxville is, boy, look at that gray. I mean, I didn't even recognize him at first when I saw him in the beginning of the trailer. And I was like, oh shit, that's Knoxville. But Steve-O, look at him on the right there, man. He looks awesome. Pontius still looks good, like he's having a good time in the middle there. You got Dave England right there. You got Preston Lacey in the background. And look, in this one, in the trailer, everybody's in it. Everybody's in it. Except for one person. And I think you know who I'm going to be talking about here. Poor Bam. Man, he is just not doing well. And I'm not dogging on the guy whatsoever, because he's been through a lot. He had a very interesting childhood as far as the way his childhood worked itself out with him getting famous so young and all that. But when Ryan Dunn died, that was tough on him. I know it was really tough on him. He definitely started getting big time into drugs. He wasn't himself anymore. He stopped caring about a lot. And you could tell, you could see it in his face. You could see that something broke in him after Ryan died, because that was like his childhood best friend. I don't know what it's like to lose a childhood best friend. I really don't. I can't sit here and tell somebody they're behaving the right way. I do know what it's like to lose a loved one. I know what that's like for sure. I lost my dad a while back, and that was tough. And so I can't tell anybody how they should grieve or what process they need to take to grieve. However, with that being said, and I wanted to preface that because I'm not talking shit about Bam. But him and Jeff Tremaine are not on good terms, and him and Johnny Knoxville aren't on good terms right now either. So apparently what's going on and what had been going on is they wanted him to be in Jackass 4. And I don't know if they're fully done filming it. It's called Jackass Forever. I don't know if they're fully done filming it, but he was giving them a bunch of shit and kind of making it hard on them to do things and was asking for all these different things. Apparently he wasn't nowadays used to on Jackass. They would all get really, really drunk and just jacked up on all kinds of different, just alcohol and drugs. That was what they did. Partially that's how they did some of the stunts. But now they're older. A lot of them are, most of them are all sober now. I know Knoxville is. I know Steve-O is. Steve-O looks great. I mean, you can tell, you can look at Steve-O right there and tell that he's sober. You can tell that he's looking good. You can look at Knoxville. He's still been going. Knoxville's had a career. Look at Pontius, still in good shape, looking good. These guys wouldn't still be around doing this if they weren't all right. And Bam obviously isn't. It's gotten so bad with Bam that they've actually had to file a restraining order against him. Tremaine and Knoxville, Jeff Tremaine and Knoxville, it's mainly Jeff Tremaine, had to file a restraining order against Knoxville because I think it was starting to get threatening and he was sort of acting maniacal, really going down a bad slope. Look, I want to reiterate once again, I'm not hating on this dude as far as his grief. I know that he's upset, but man, these are your best boys. You can't be biting the hands that feed you like this. This guy right here on the left, Jeff Tremaine, is the guy that got him famous. If it wasn't for Jeff, Bam wouldn't have got out there. Nobody would have paid the attention that Jeff did, but Jeff was a hustler that promoted him in magazines and then started the shows. Like Jeff Tremaine is a co-producer with Rob Dyrdek on Ridiculousness and any of the stuff with Rob Dyrdek back in the Fantasy Factory days, Robin Big, all that stuff. Jeff Tremaine's been a part of. He's a part of Nitro Circus. The guys, he knows what that dude knows what's up. And like I said, I feel bad that Bam is going through all this, but at the same time, man, you can't bite the hand that feeds you because these are the guys that love you and have stuck by you and got you to where you are. And if you look at this picture, man, they all still love each other and they're doing good. And it's a shame. And they've even said it. Knoxville said, it's like, I don't hate him, but right now this is what has to be done. And I think he does need a little bit of help. I'm not judging. I don't know everything that's gone on, but I think it's clear. I think it's clear that he needs help. So I just wish him the best of luck, man. I really do. I don't want any negativity because when you look at this over here, I mean, look at the back in the day. That was the times, man. Done looking at him and look at him in the middle right there. He was alive, good and well. They're all so young. Now, yeah, a lot of them were in some tough spots drug wise, and they were maybe at their worst, but they were all still here. And, it's going to be weird seeing this movie without Bam. I got to say, I want him to be right. I don't want him in the movie to be wrong. You know what I mean? I don't want him in the movie all jacked up and just unhappy the whole time. He needs to get his shit together, needs to get his life situated. And I'm not meaning that in a mean way. I'm meaning that in a very nice way, in a compassionate way. But I mean, this will be the first Jackass thing with absolutely no Bam. Ryan Dunn, obviously that makes sense, but it is ironic that Bam and Ryan are the two that aren't going to be in it. And it was because I seriously believe if Ryan wouldn't have died, and God rest his soul, but I seriously believe if Ryan wouldn't have died, Bam and Ryan would both be fine in this movie. I think Bam would be in a better spot in his life, everything. So let's just hope that dude gets better. And I wish him the best. I'd love to see him. I don't know necessarily in a Jackass 5, but I'd love to see him happy and healthy again and doing like some Viva La Bam stuff again, you know, just doing crazy cool stuff, building ramps outside of his house, building massive casino tree houses and stuff like that. I just wish him the best. I hope he gets back to where he needs to be. So here's to you, Bam, because I grew up watching those guys, man. I feel like they're sort of like my family in a way, which is why I'm excited to see this. I mean, I think it's going to be great. I think it will be fun. If not anything, remember, these movies aren't just funny because of the stunts. They're funny because these guys are funny dudes. They're hilarious. Johnny Knoxville is one of the funniest personalities out there. Steve-O's hilarious. Pontius has got some of the greatest one-liners of all time. So does Knoxville, obviously. But I mean, look, Wee Man, all of it. They're all going to be in it. And these guys are cool. They're funny dudes and they do crazy shit. So I think that's why it's going to be great. Like I said, it's a shame that Bam can't be in there, but hey, heart does go out to you, Bam. Wish you luck. But that'll do it for this episode, guys. Thanks for tuning in. Wrap it up. Trying to keep these within an hour or less, sometimes less, but I really want to try not to go over an hour. I got to get better about that, even when I have a guest. So thank y'all so much for keep tuning in. Hit the like button if you enjoy this. And if you hadn't subscribed already, hit that subscribe button, please, so you can help us make it to the top. I got to say it just like that. It's because I do it at my reviews. And also look for my reviews too. I'm trying to organize my YouTube page better where things are more sorted out into sections and categories on the homepage of YouTube. So now I should have my live streams in one section, should have my reviews in one section, should have some like short films in one section. I just got all kind of stuff. Theme things like my James Bond stuff's in one section. So check it out. Help me out, promote it to all your friends if you feel like it. Like I said, I really appreciate all the help that any of you guys have supported me with, and hopefully I can do this forever and start really bringing it in, making this thing look awesome and be your go-to. Well, that's it, dudes. Love y'all with all my heart, and look forward to tomorrow. We'll see what news has to come there. I'm not sure what's up, but I'll find out in the morning. Adios, guys.